Good morning. Please welcome our music team, Fuji Fujimoto and Ben Bailey on drums. Yeah, Fuji's on bass. And John Soul and Ty Andrews are our wonderful singers this morning, as well as Al Shellman and Vito Lianza. So yeah, for some of us it's the first time, right, Vito?
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to town.
I'm a newbie.
All right, we love that. We love that. So much talent here at the Spiritual Living Center. Good morning and welcome. Will you join as we stand and sing together our opening song entitled Grateful?
I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful,
So grateful.
grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here.
Good morning, everybody. You may be seated. Hi. My. It's like the Temptations are here. Wow. I feel underdressed. Good morning and welcome to Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I'm David Ault and I'm privileged to serve as senior minister. I need help. Welcome, and David Aurelio informed me a week or so ago that he hadn't had a weekend off since, I think, 1987. And I said, interesting, because you haven't been here since 2011. But so we granted him that, and wherever he is, we hope he's not watching live stream. And in his place is the beautiful and the brilliant, and how privileged are we to have someone who is a home person, an Atlanta person, but also doing her internship for ministerial school. Lane Morgan, please welcome Lane.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. What a beautiful and glorious, gorgeous morning to be together at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We miss David Aurelio, but we wish him well, and as I said this morning, I hope he's in his pajamas somewhere. We are a center where you can gain spiritual tools to transform your personal life, but also just make the world a better place. And obviously we do that here on Sunday mornings, but we actually have things going on here at the center almost every day of the week. And inside your program, there's an insert that you're welcome to take home with you that has all of the dates and information on it. There are a couple of things I do want to point out in the announcements, though. First of all, Spiritual Living Institute, which is our online education division, is having a wonderful month of April. Many of you are taking a class this month with either Reverend Cynthia James or our own Loria Palco, and those classes are a huge success, so we appreciate your participation in that. And coming up in May, you can find out on the Spiritual Living Institute website about our May classes, and the rumor is that one of them is taught by Reverend David. So check that out and see if that's something that you might want to take. I also want to put some things on your calendar. Later this month, on April 26th, Eddie Watson is going to be our musical guest. He will not only provide this Sunday morning music, and that's going to be a treat, but he's also going to be giving a seminar in the afternoon. And Eddie Watkins is has been the musical director at the Center for Spiritual Living in Las Vegas and in Seattle, and we are privileged to have him as a guest. Well, at the seminar in the afternoon, what he's going to do is he's going to help you take affirmations that you have for your daily life and help you set them to music and create chants for yourself. So you can have them in music form to help you throughout the day. So if you're interested in this workshop, there is information outside at the table, and you can pick that up and put that on your calendar. Another thing to put on your calendar is Friday, May 8th, we are co-hosting a showing of the sequel to the New Thought movie that you saw here a couple years ago. We're showing the sequel, which is called A New Thought, A New You. And the director, John Miller, is actually going to be at that movie showing. And this movie features Deepak Chopra, Della Reese, and also local talent, Bishop Barbara King, and our own Reverend Dr. David Ault. So we are very excited about this movie. We're co-hosting this with CSL Midtown, Trinity CSL, the City of Light, and MetaWorks. So join with us that evening and enjoy a great movie. I think it's $10 and it's over at City of Light. So 7 o'clock, May 8th. We also have a new opportunity for our community. A grief and loss therapy group will be starting here on Wednesday evenings. And if you are interested in such a therapy group, there is a green flyer outside on the table. So when you pick that up, you can get all the information for contacting and joining that group. Now today there are two things happening immediately after this service. One of them is the Cancer Survivor Thriver group. They're having a special meeting today, and so you can join that after this service, or we're also having new member orientation. We have new member orientation on even numbered months, and so this is April, so we will be having our new member orientation. And you may have noticed a few weeks ago, we recognized our new members of the community for the months of January, February, and March. We'll be doing that again in June. So if you've never officially joined as a member and that's something that's interesting to you, or you just have more questions about our community, come to new member orientation and we're going to give you a lot of information right after this service. So, we've got meditation from 10:50 to, we already did meditation. We can't do that again. Sorry about that. Please turn your cell phones off. That happens every service. And we'd also love to welcome first-time visitors. So if you're here for the first time, if you could raise your hand, let us know you're here. Please stand up. We have a gift for you. We're so glad you're here. And you can take that CD case out to the table in the lobby and pick up your information. We also hope that we'll see you at new member orientation. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.
All right. Thank you, Lane. At this time, I'm going to invite you to take your programs and stand with me. On the inside is called our Declaration of Principle. I invite you to read this with me together. I believe in one God, one absolute power and first cause to all things. I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love. I believe that all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all. Remain standing for our song this month, which is on the inside. You are welcomed here.
Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. There's so much more when we unite. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. There's so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome.
to those around you and say, good morning. Welcome to Spiritual Living Center. All right. Everybody get a phone number? I do hope you've had some fun over these last few days with the Dogwood Festival, and if you have a chance to go, there was amazing stuff out there, right? What a beautiful city we live in, particularly this time of the year when everything is in bloom, so much pollen. But we bless it all. We bless it all. I'm going to invite you now to go and take all of that divine energy and let's channel it inward. Perhaps, if you would, get comfortable in your chair. I was always told that when you ready yourself in that body posture to receive a gift, then that's exactly what happens. We receive a gift. So in our meditation prayer time this morning, I invite you to do that as we welcome our practitioner for today, Baji Daniels.
Thank you, and good morning. And namaste. Namaste. The divine light in me recognizes and honors the divine light in each one of you. As David said, we are in the full bloom of spring, and we are loving it. And this morning, for me, began in such a magnificent way that I just wanted to let you know what that was and invite you to be a part of it. Every Sunday morning at 9:45, upstairs, right above us in the East Wing, there's an adult spiritual study group that convenes, and we meet for 1 hour. And we have a book. It's in the bookstore. It's written by the founder of our teaching, Ernest Holmes, and co-written by Raymond Barker. And this book has a reading for every day. And we read and come together and talk and share. And the transformation that is taking place in my life and in the lives of other people who are attending regularly is just magnificent. It is a living demonstration of what science of mind is all about. I invite you to just come up, maybe out of curiosity, but I assure you, you will want to continue. That said, I invite you to close your eyes if you would like. I will close mine because I'm looking at a bright light. And let us just go inward together to that quiet, peaceful, sacred space. And just center yourself in it by consciously breathing. Slow, deep breaths in and out. And as you do that, I will invoke what I call God. And you can call it by whatever name you choose. It really doesn't matter. But there is this energy, there is this power that is everywhere present and is right here now. It's right where you are. It is you. It is me. It is everyone and everything. This source energy is omnipotent. It's omniscient. It's omnipresent and it's omni-action. It's always awaiting my recognition and my acceptance of it. I am its representative on earth. And the degree to which I understand how it moves and lives and expresses itself in me is the degree to which I am showing up as a good representative. I am a divine expression, perfect, whole, complete, and that is the truth for each and every one of you. And so my truth is your truth. It is the truth that we live in a beautiful, beautiful world. And this world is always sourcing us with more of its beauty, more of its goodness. And we have but to remove the veil from our eyes. And we have but to unstop our ears and listen. And we have but to allow the sweetness of the words and the sounds to fall upon our ears. And we are transmuted into a realm of holiness. And that's the space that I live in. And that's the space that each person can live in because it's here. And we know, we accept, we declare, we affirm, and we celebrate the expression of all of that this morning through the words that are spoken, through the songs that are sung, the music that is played, through the smiles and the warmth reflected in each individual. Oh, I know that each hand that I touch, each heart that I feel, it's all God, and it's here, and it's ours to enjoy, to express, and to just revel and play with. And so this day is perfect. It was made perfect before we arrived, and we bring our presence and elevate the joy of all goodness. And knowing that this is so, I can just release my word with joy, with celebration, with gratitude. And I let it go into that holy place, that law that always says yes. And I ask you to anchor this prayer with me, and let us say together, and so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me.
Thank you so much, Baji. Please welcome John Soul as he celebrates his life through music. One of the most talented people we have here in our community. He's one of our vocal instructors for our choir, and he tithes that to us, and we're so honored. I really, truly mean that. Thank you for gifting us with your strength and your artistry. It's just so beautiful. Thank you.
Don't look back. There's only things you cannot change. The past. You're wasting time asking what if you linger on too long. Pick the roses from the thorn. Watch the waters from the storm. See the sun in your bright days. Smell the flowers in the valley. This moment is mine. I'm living inside. I'll grow with each breath that I take. I'll cherish my freedom. I'm sharing my joy. I'm growing like sunshine. I'm spreading my wings and I'll fly. I'm still as the night. This moment is mine. Possibilities travel on through infinity. Our finite minds cannot see the unknown to be. In your worry, what can change? In the spirit of your mind, be renewed. It's not too late. Redeem the time and seize the day. This moment is mine. I'm living inside. I'll grow with each breath that I take. I'll cherish my freedom. I'm sharing my joy. I'm growing like sunshine. I'm spreading my wings and I'll fly. I'm still as the night. This moment is mine.
Fabulous.
Yes, it is. Thank you, John, so much. John is such an amazing vocal coach in the Atlanta area, and we've got so much talent and so freely sharing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I ran across this phrase that I absolutely loved. It says, "What you appreciate, appreciates." And it was from a book by a woman named Lynn Twist, who wrote a magnificent bestseller called The Soul of Money. And she said, what you appreciate appreciates. It's true in our money culture, where a desirable house and a desirable neighborhood appreciates in dollar value from year to year. It's true also in our personal relationships, where our appreciation of someone's special qualities can make them bloom before our very eyes. It's true in business, where a company's commitment to its employees fosters pride and excellence in their work. And this simple but powerful act we call appreciation expands the freedom, the creativity, and ultimately the success we experience, particularly in relationship with money, but also in every single thing that we come in facet with. Appreciation is the beating heart of sufficiency. Sufficiency. And we know this to be so because we are always talking about spiritual law. That law meaning cause and effect, that what we focus on expands. So it makes perfect sense, doesn't it, that we would take this lesson and this opportunity of gratitude and appreciation and applying it as often as we could to those things that we want to see expand. I love appreciation's counterpart, and that is aggravation. Because you see, everything has a yin and a yang, right? And when you look at it as this yin and the yang are two sides to one coin, then all of those opportunities of appreciation that we do so well, because when you like something, it's easy to appreciate it, right? But the real lesson is, can you apply that to the things that are aggravation? And that's where the beauty of this work comes into play. That's where you and I are called into a high ideal. That's where you and I develop what we call spiritual muscle and the understanding and the application of this within our everyday lives. It's often been said we're as strong as our what? Our weakest link. So if our weakest link has to center around aggravation and anger or displacement or old wounding, then what we become is a byproduct of that, unless we are willing to begin to address that. So Helen Keller once said, when one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the other one which has been opened for us. And of course you can agree with that if we are looking at the aggravation, if we're speaking of the wound, if we have become self-identified by that, then all of the things to be appreciative of, even the obvious things, become a chore. And I loved also the same quote with a little bit of a different sentiment. It said, in life, when one door closes, another always opens, but the hallways are a bitch. It's one of my favorites. So, what is the hallway? The hallway is the classroom. The hallway is the laboratory where you and I get to work out our stuff. The hallway, yes it is. Absolutely. We're going to have a revival today. I can feel it already. All right. The hallway. The hallway is that personal laboratory. And every single one of us are in the hallway. You know, we're meeting and greeting and doing all of those kinds of things. And sometimes we're nicey nice in our atmosphere of appreciation, but we're also in there with our aggravation. And the aggravation is there. Someone said once that there's nothing to be healed, there's only more to be revealed. I always liked that, meaning that what is wanting to be revealed is the unfinished business. What is wanting to be revealed is the attachment to or the allegiance to any kind of limitation, to any kind of wounding, to any kind of story, in order to what? To facilitate the whole sole reason why you and I are here, which is to be that pure vessel, that instrument of the divine, to be able to speak, act, live, demonstrate, operate from that which we call spirit to the best of our ability. You know, it's the fact that we are sort of like this cylinder with a bunch of muddy water, and every single time we have a transformation from aggravation to appreciation, it's like crystal water is being poured into that cylinder. And the more that we practice it, the muddy water begins to diffuse. And all of the things that we say that we want, all of the things that our heart yearns for, become more palatable and more real and more accessible and more visible, not because they haven't always been there in the hallway, but because we haven't been able to see them. And so when we begin to do the work, we celebrate the hallway rather than curse it. And so I often think, and I've shared this with you before, just the most powerful motto that rings so all-pervasive inside of me, and it comes from the Course in Miracles, and it says, love brings up everything unlike itself. And boy, I used to go, huh? What does that mean? What does that mean? Love brings up everything unlike itself. But you see, our reason for being is to walk as much as possible in a pathway and an energy of integrity. So if I say that I am an advocate for love, if I profess publicly or to other people that I am an instrument of love, God, make me an instrument of thy peace, make me an instrument of love, let me be that, then guess what? Everything unlike that says, hey, in the hallway. Not because we're being tormented, not because we're being punished, but because we have created that standard whereby we are being called to a higher ideal. Love brings up everything unlike itself. There is nothing to be healed, only more to be revealed. Ooh, I didn't know that was in there. Ooh, I didn't know that was in the hallway. And so as we continue to work with this, if I stand and I say, I am an advocate for peace, if I join the Peace Corps, if I align with peace organizations, then everything unlike that, in my day-to-day world, in the landscape of news, in society, everything that I see, unlike peace, will present itself for me to what? To practice the aggravation of that into a place of appreciation. Whatever it is that we place that focus on grows. It's a very simple premise. And boy, some of us have great aggravation stories. They're beautiful. They're colorful. They're in 3D long before 3D was even popular. They're just so magnificent. And who would we be without that? Suddenly, the hallway would be a completely different experience. I realize that many of us are enduring the hallway. You know, I never really realized it, but my mentor that I'm working with, he kept saying from birth to rebirth. And we usually say from cradle to grave. And he was saying from cradle to rebirth. And I went, oh, I never thought about it that way. There is no death, right? And in the hallway, as we're going from cradle to what we perceive to be death, there is this enduring factor, a part of our domestication, a part of our saturation of the world. But if we looked at it as from birth to rebirth, what would that experience be like if we began to practice this principle of learning how to spread that appreciation to things more and more and more? So obviously, we want more things to be grateful for. We want those experiences. It's easy. It's doable, again, to be grateful for the things that I am already grateful for. So we must go to that hallway or that classroom of life and be willing to list, to see, to examine the aggravation, and to begin the process of the transformation of that. And what does that term all-sufficiency mean? The term that the author Lynn Twist used. It means that regardless of how dire the circumstances are or have been, currently or historically, that there has been an all-sufficiency. There has been a solution, if you will. One of my students, Lisa, was telling the story in class this week about being away from her home. She was out of town, and someone called a neighbor, I believe, to tell her that there was some water coming out of her garage. And what would you do if you heard that phone call and you were out of town and she came home? And that's an easy thing to be aggravated about, isn't it? And maybe traveling helped precipitate that, but she was like, what can I do about this right now? So she got home and she just went to bed. Rather than let herself stew in the aggravation, she said, I'm going to bed. And in that moment of surrender, which is really what it is, just a divine surrender, it dawned on her she has insurance, and that by merely calling and facilitating that insurance, this thing that she had long wanted to do with the garage and other parts of that house, which needed to be repainted and fixed because she was going to move, all of the sudden, and then wondering where the money was going to come from that, all of the sudden, the fairy flew in called insurance and took care of all of that. And what I loved about that, what I found so inspiring about that, is that there was a deliberate releasement of the aggravation. She said even her neighbor looked at her like she was odd and said, why aren't you upset? You know, living out loud, living this particular principle. And so in that, realizing that there is an all-sufficiency, there are solutions, oh my God, are there solutions that you and I haven't even dreamt of yet? Because you're talking about infinite potentiality. Have you ever tried to compartmentalize your solution? No, it has to come from that person. No, it has to come from that job. No, it has to come from her, you know? As if we have so reduced down and become so locked into outlining the way in which the good or that solution or that sufficiency wants to come, rather than if you're in the hallway saying, you know, I really can't see where I'm at right now, but I know the sufficiency and the solution is there. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender and let it happen. I was reading how the classroom or the hallway experience or the laboratory, if you want to call it that, is always with us wherever we go. And I found this wonderful story about these two couples, this husband and wife and another husband and wife, who got this idea that they were going to sail this great, great distance on this yacht. And they thought, wouldn't this be a great vacation? And so they were going to have this experience together. And in the middle of their journey, somewhere in the Pacific, many, many kilometers from the nearest land, their yacht's engine broke. And the two men changed into their work gear, went down into the small engine compartment, and tried to repair the engine. The two women were sitting on the deck, enjoying the warm sun and reading magazines. That sounds a little sexist, doesn't it? Okay, one woman went down into the engine room while one man stayed. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. So the engine compartment was hot and it was very cramped. And as the men were trying to work with this engine, it seemed as if the engine were willful and didn't want to be fixed. Big steel nuts wouldn't turn in the wrench. Small but vital screws would slip and fall into the most inaccessible, greasy recesses, and leaks just wouldn't stop leaking. Frustration bred irritation, first with the engine, then with each other. Irritation grew quickly into anger. Then the anger exploded into the madness of rage. And one of the men had had enough. He threw down his wrench and he shouted, "Right, that's it, I'm leaving." Such is the madness of anger that he went to his cabin, he cleaned up, he changed his clothes, he packed his bags, and then he appeared on deck, still fuming. in his best jacket with his bags in either hand, and the two women just looked at him and burst out laughing. There was nowhere to go. He went back downstairs, changed his clothes, went back into the engine room until a solution was found. And that's the thing. You and I think there's somewhere to go. We have deluded ourselves into thinking there's somewhere to go outside of the hallway. Let me tell you, There's nothing to be healed, only more to be revealed. So you and I are in the hallway thinking, I don't have to deal with this. I'm going to move to Albuquerque. I don't have to deal with this. I'll just get a divorce and leave. And we take all of that with us on that side of the hallway. There's nowhere to go. So when we start to realize this, then the true work becomes, how do I bridge? How do I bridge from my aggravation to my appreciation? I think one of the things that would help us is to be able to look at those things, again, historically and currently, and to look at them with a sense of acceptance. Whatever happened to you and I in our younger years, the pain, the trauma, the drama, all of the things that have made some kind of lasting impression inside of our DNA, whether we address it or not, that all of that is still residually there. And when you and I can begin to turn and to look at it, rather than continually trying to do that, and realize there's nowhere to go, what that requires us is to be willing to make peace with that. To be willing to look at all of those particularized events, those people, those circumstances, that wounding, and to realize that that actually played a part in getting you and I to where we are today. Because I don't know about you, but the biggest perpetrators of my grief and the biggest situations in my life caused me in a metaphoric falling down on my knees to surrender, to begin to bridge from that aggravation to a place of transformation and appreciation for what was. There hasn't been one teacher worth their grain of salt who hasn't barked that into my head over and over and over again. Do not wish to change anything. Karen Ratz in first service, when she was doing the treatment, she said something about how when people in their 70s and 80s and 90s were being interviewed, they were asked, what's the one thing that you would change? And they said, to worry less. Not really about changing events and circumstances, but to simply stop worrying. To stop worrying about what's going to happen to me, or how am I going to survive, or blindly feeling our way through the hallway from birth to the rebirth. But to realize that everything in its potentiality is this amazing gift, if we let it. And so, there is no place to go except for right here and right now. And to begin to allow ourselves to have that experience. There's this amazing a Buddhist monk and abbot who currently resides in Australia. His name is Ajahn Brahm. And he was saying that when he first began his level of training, he was assigned to a remote area in Thailand. And they had just enough money, as they were trying to figure out how to create this monastery, just enough money to purchase the land. And once the land was purchased, it was like, well, what are we going to do now for supplies? So they kept working in this minimalistic fashion and were able to eventually get the bricks and to get the mortar. And of course, they didn't have the money to hire someone to begin building this. So each of those monks had to learn how to be a brick mason. They had to learn how to construct and to use that. And he said, day after day, we would take the brick and we would take the mortar and I would knock it down on one end to try and even it out. And as I would do that, the other end would pop up. And he says, thank God we were monks, because patience was the task and patience was the gift and patience was the way of life. It was like the guy on the boat. There was no place to go but to figure out how to make this brick and this mortar work. And eventually he said he got the hang of it. And when all was said and done, he completed his very first wall, the bricks and the mortar. And as he stepped back to look at his handiwork, he noticed way down at the bottom that there were 2 bricks that were off at a different angle. And he was embarrassed because they were taught to operate, to do everything from this sense of excellence. And he went to his abbot and he said, please, can I tear the wall down? And his abbot said, absolutely not. The wall stays. We don't have the resources, and you need to deal with it. And so he couldn't, every time he looked at the wall, guess all that he saw were those 2 bricks. And then the first visitors came, and he was assigned the task to take them on a tour. And he was trying to do everything to, look over here, squirrel, to everything away from the wall. But that first group, as they were touring, one man looked and said, wow, nice wall. Nice wall. And guess what he did? Guess what Ajun Brun said? Yeah, but. And he pointed to the 2 bricks, to the man. And the man said, yes, but there are 998 fabulous bricks. What a great wall. In that moment, he said he was just overcome with how much yet there was to learn. And that how each of us live our lives most of the time by a 2-brick process, where all that we can think about is the displacement or the aggravation or the wound or the thing that continues to hinder our ability to be able to see the majesty of who and what we truly are. And see, sometimes visitors come in and out of our lives, don't they? And they offer us the information that we need. They offer us the appreciation, actually, that we so hunger for. But if my focus or your focus is on those 2 bricks, you don't hear it, do you? I don't hear it. And we become so obsessed. It's like that dog with a bone that cannot see anything else before them. And so our work becomes about being able to understand and to realize that what is limiting you is you. Yay! What is limiting me is me. But oh, the stories that we tell in the hallway. Did you hear what happened to me? Can you believe? Our aggravations can become transformation if we let it. If we let it. We want to be unlimited. Then we must become aware of the thoughts that keep us in that state of limitation. And that is where you and I begin to do the work. So you have homework this week. What I want from you is to begin to construct a list of your aggravations. Be they current or be they historical, be they person, place, or thing. And as you create this list of your aggravations, I want you, if you're willing, to be able to look at that list and to be able to then open yourself up to see how each and every one of those things has played a part in you being the person who you are. In fact, a lot of that aggravation, much like the sand inside the clam which produces the pearl wants to happen by means of you. And are we willing to begin the transformation of allowing that to happen for us? And that is your homework. That is my homework. I have to be careful when I create topics such as this, because the universe, in all of its infinite splendor, brings me much, much fodder and opportunity. So I look forward to seeing you in the hallway. And so it is. Well, there's Lisa, the person whose garage flooded. Come on up, Lisa. Yay, insurance. What? Yeah, I'm going to make you do that thing. Are you aggravated or appreciative of it?
I'm not aggravated.
You can just lead us in our grateful giving or tell us what you're appreciative of.
I'm appreciative of these teachings because I know, as I told Reverend Ault, I know Shaquanda would have come out. But I kept her in check. And I tried to see the big picture, and I saw the big picture. And it was only because of these teachings. They've opened me up to surrender and to see the good, not necessarily the bad. So now I lead you in our affirmation of grateful giving. Do we say it together? Okay. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share of life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Please welcome back our music team, our wonderful vocalists, and our house band.
How's everybody doing out there? My name is Ty Andrews, and this is John Soul. And we want to share this new song that we wrote together starting last year. And when we were in our stuff, and it's called Grand Delusion. So the lyrics that you're going to hear is actually kind of about our lives, and we wanted to share that, put our heart on a platter, boom, 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 and say, this is who we are. We wanted it to write it from a different place, not to see if it would be a hit or if it would be for a demographic. We just wanted to come from a very authentic place of this is who we are, and this is how Spirit has worked for us, and how Spirit can work for you. And we even got a custom suit out of it. What do you think? Okay. So I want to give a shout out to MFP Lux, LUXE.com, for styling us for this. And thank you, singers. Thank you, Penelope, for allowing us to share our gift. And Reverend David. Grand Delusion.
Mirror, mirror, let's call a thing a thing. What you showing? It just ain't working, no. I had the money, I had the show. I've done everything, even changed my clothes. I deserve something better, so much more in my life.
It's just a lie.
It's just a lie.
It's just a lie.
It's just a lie. Yeah.
If you want solution, don't you dwell in the confusion. It's alright.
It's alright.
It's alright.
You can do it.
Keep it moving.
'Cause it's all a grand illusion. Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. John, let me tell you, these crazy things can happen. The pain is more than you imagine. Your mind is funny. The change is strange. But you only win when you change the game. You deserve something better. Yes, you do. It's alright, live your life.
It's just a lie.
It's just a lie.
It's just a lie.
It's just a lie.
If you want solution,
If you want
dwell
solution,
in the confusion. It's alright.
it's alright.
It's alright.
It's just alright. yeah.
Keep it moving.
'Cause it's all a grand illusion. What you feel,
What you feel
reveals your
reveals your life.
You will find peace of mind.
Hey,
Put your hands together. No matter how much we're in our stuff, we can always celebrate the good, right?
It's a good time to get out of the hallway.
It's just a lie.
It's just a lie.
It's just a lie. It's just a lie, yeah.
Yes, you want solution.
It's alright.
It's alright.
It's alright.
It's your life.
Keep it moving. Won't you move it, move it, move it? You can do it. Yeah, it's just a lie.
It's alright.
If you want some,
Yeah.
if you want solution, you
It's alright.
It's alright. Just let it be and believe.
Keep it moving. Want you move it.
Move it, move it, move it. It's alright. It's alright.
It's alright. Let it be. Just let it be and believe.
Keep it moving.
You gotta keep on moving. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Ty Andrews, John Soul, Vicar Al and Vito. Beautiful. Grand Illusion, on sale now. Yeah.
We will be out front with CDs if you like the song.
Yes, they remain standing. They made a single out of that, and they're available out there in the lobby, right? And you can touch the suit. All right, cool. Would our practitioners please come and line up before us? Boy, are they well trained to be able to offer you a prayer, a hallway prayer, that's going to know a grander truth for you. As they make their way, I invite you right now to sing and join in our closing song.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all